What's good? What's good? It's the one and only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. So we got Jaron Ennis in the news. I was going to say in the building. In the news, and possibly it's rumored that he's looking to go move up and fight Charles Conwell, man. Like, if you guys don't know Charles Conwell, aka the best kept secret, he's 2016 Olympian. He has been very quiet in his professional run. A lot of that, I know he took some time off after, Patrick Dale went out. I don't want to speak on that, but anyways, he's a very good fighter, come forward fighter. He comes to fight or whatnot. I think that it'll be a very good fight, but he hasn't really been in there with anybody that we would consider the world class opponents or whatnot. He has beat a few guys or whatever, but anyways, this is a fight that's potentially gonna happen or whatnot. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get into it, and I'm definitely gonna give you my thoughts because honestly, I love it. So, shout out to Boxing News 24/7. It says Boots Ennis team makes offer to Charles Conwell for 154 debut. Jaron Boots Ennis team has reportedly sent a six-figure offer to unbeaten junior middleweight contender Charles Conwell for a fight later this year. A dangerous yet unheralded opponent, Conwell, who's 26 years old, isn't the fighter that people expected Boots to face in his debut at 154 pounds. This guy is dangerous, but it wouldn't be a fight that would attract a lot of attention from fans. As long as Hearn is willing or was willing to pay to get good opponents, Boots could face Siri Boachak, Virgil Ortiz, or Israel Madrimov. Those guys would gladly face Boots, and they might even beat him. What's up with this dude? Like, Virgil Ortiz didn't want to fight him at 154. I don't see Virgil Ortiz beating Boots. I don't see none of those guys. Now, I think Israel Madrimov would give him a good fight, though. The Boxing Voice reports that an offer was sent to ranked number 4 WBC Conwell, who was 20-0 with 15 knockouts, for a fight against Ennis, who needs an opponent. Boots Ennis promoter Eddie Hearn struck out twice trying to get fights against WBO welterweight champion Brian Norman and Karen Chawanka. Surprisingly, Hearn would fail to set up fights for Ennis, who was 27, because he's been so high on him after inking the Philadelphia native recently. But after one fight against David Avanesian, Hearn seems to realize that it's not going to be easy to find opponents willing to fight him that aren't asking for a lot of money. Conwell's recent wins over these fighters, he beat Nathaniel Gallimore. I think he stopped Nathaniel Gallimore. Abraham Ramirez, Juan Carlos Abreu, and I guess that's Kerry Gray. It would be risky for Boots to take on Conwell in his first fight at junior middleweight, because this guy hits hard, and for someone who is with a leaky defense to face, Ennis got hit a lot in his last two fights against Avanesian and Roman Villa. What? Okay. Anyways, those two fights showed that Ennis might not be as good as some boxing fans thought he was. He could be asking for trouble going up. Hearn's decision not to pay WBO welterweight champion Brian Norman asking price of $2.2 million might have been a strategic move to keep his fighters safe. Norman would have been a risky fight for Boots, and he may have lost. What is up with this dude? Like, I'm sorry. I don't understand what his issue is with Boots, but I think a lot of that stuff that he's saying, or whoever wrote this, a lot of this stuff is not true. I mean, I think I like Brian Norman, but I don't see him beating Jaron Ennis. Anyways, and shout out to Boxing News 24. It says Boots is a risky potential at debut at 154. 154-pound contender, Charles Conwell has been reportedly offered six figures. I just talked about that. Ennis could regret it's a bad matchup for Boots to take on Conwell because he might lose. Even if he wins, he won't get credit. Now, I kind of agree with that this is Boxing 24 now, but I kind of agree that it is really weird because Charles Conwell is one of the Olympians, and shout out to Charles Conwell. He actually fought a close friend of mine named Ezekiel Scruggs or whatnot, but Charles Conwell was like, I think he was in the 2016 Olympics, and dude has just been like, for these past 8 years that he's been pro, dude has not made any type of noise, bro. Like, I know, you know, he was in there with Patrick Day. Rest in peace, Patrick Day. That was the fight that, you know, I don't want to get into that, but rest in peace, Patrick Day. But Charles Conwell just has not been, he's not really been, you know, active. I don't want to say active. Maybe that was part of it, but he's not been making any noise. And it was kind of crazy to me because I used to always like wonder, like, damn, when is Charles Conwell gonna start making the type of noise that Shakur? Shakur was on that same team. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Shakur was on that same team. But like Charles Conwell just didn't really make any noise at, you know, going, you know, pro. When he's kind of been quiet or whatever up until this point right here. It's been 8 years, and normally, you know, when you're an Olympian, you got guys like Errol Spence. Errol Spence been making noise since he's turned pro. You know, at least he's, you know, he didn't get a title shot until what, 2017. So, you know, it was, you know, 5 years after he turned pro, he got a title shot, and that's understandable, I guess. So I don't know, maybe I don't know, because I do know that Kell Brook was kind of avoiding that for a minute before he actually gave, you know, Errol Spence his title shot. But you know, you had Shakur wasn't pro that long before he got his title shot. You know, I always used to wonder about Charles Conwell. But anyways, Ennis could regret his decision to fight the big puncher Conwell, who's 20-0 with 15 knockouts, if the reports are solid. It's a dangerous fight that boots Ennis, whose defense is non-existent, who tends to get involved in firefights with all of his opponents. Number 4, Charles Conwell looked impressive lately, knocking out Kerry Gray and Nathaniel Gallimore in his last 2 fights. If Boots defeats Conwell, he will get a top 5 ranking and will be in position to fight for the WBC 154 champion Sebastian Fedora. A risky fight against Conwell for Boots, and not the ideal one for a fighter who uses his chin as his main line of defense. So I don't even really want to get into that. Hearns, you know, we already talked about that. So, you know, that's their opinion. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm not seeing. So let me see. Yeah. Oh, my bad. I'm just trying to make sure I got all on. Yeah. All right. Now, I like this idea, and I like this fight. I would rather for this fight to be for a title shot, because I just feel like Charles Conwell has been in the game too long to have not challenged for a title yet. But I think this is a good fight. Now, the only thing about it is, should Charles Conwell lose, he'll be going all the way to the back. And I hate to see talent like Charles Conwell, who just don't seem like they ever get their break or whatnot. And he should be a world champion, you know. But I like the idea of the fight. I hope that the fight does get made. Like I said, I would rather it be for a title, but you know, I'll take it as I get it or whatnot. But I think this is an interesting matchup. Anytime you have a pressure fighter or a come-forward fighter against a slick fighter, that's always a good matchup. And it just depends on who wants it more. Sometimes the pressure fighter beats the slick fighter, you know. Sometimes the slick fighter beats the pressure fighter, you know. It just all depends on who's in better condition and who's just, you know, who has the better game plan that night, you know. And I think that, you know, I think Jaron Ennis is a big guy at 147 pounds, but I think that he's not given the credit he's deserved. He's very slick. He can be slick. He's a switch hitter. I think that he'll give anybody problems or whatnot. Now, Charles Conwell, like I said, he's a come forward fighter, keeps his hands up. He's there to get you out of there or whatever. I think that's it makes for a very good fight. I really want to see the fight, but I would probably still, I would still pick
Jaron Ennis to win that fight, but it would definitely be the best person that Jaron Ennis has fought. I will say that. No doubt about it. Charles Conwell would beat anybody on Jaron Ennis' resume and vice versa. So I hope that this fight gets made for later this year. And if not, at least when one of them becomes a world champion. That way it's more on the line. I mean, that fight deserves to have some type of reward at the end of it. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. But what do I know?